Was there or was there not a surplus when they handed over the reins of power to the Liberals? November's fiscal monitor came out, said year to date there'd been $1 billion surplus. Now year to date there's a $3.2 billion surplus. The Liberals still won't admit it. Why?
Yeah, it's a really good question, Brian. I mean, you've got an independent third party, the PBO, saying that there is a surplus. The government seems hell-bent on blaming this on the past government. And, whatever you may think of the last government, they didn't win the last election. So they're not the ones that should have to be responsible for things today. It is a little bit odd that this government, which seems to be committed to spending at all costs, thinks it makes any difference, whether there was $1 billion more or $1 billion less from the last government.
Yeah, so you've got the Parliamentary Budget Officer, the PBO, saying there was a surplus. You've got Bill Morneau's own department by releasing the fiscal monitor saying there was a surplus in the first 9 months of the fiscal year, and yet Morneau still insists, Trudeau still insists, no, there was only a deficit when we took over. Here's my theory on this, Aaron. The Liberals are looking for an excuse to spend, and if they create a crisis, then they can spend more. That's why we were looking at, we were promised $10 billion deficits. Now they're saying 18.4 before our promised spending kicks in. I think they're looking to create a crisis, so there's justification to spend more.
Well, you could be right.
Am I onto something?
Yeah, you could be right. And it should be troubling for a lot of Canadians, because let's not forget, this is a government that promised to run deficits as part of its platform. So right out of the gate, they were saying, we can't live within our means. Now they've suddenly said, whoops, things are nowhere near as rosy as we thought. I guess what that means is we're going to have to keep spending the way that we had originally said. Brian, they've thrown out their own numbers here. They said maximum $10 billion a year deficit. That's gone. They said we'd balance in 4 years. Now that's gone. They're even walking away from the one weasel ratio, the debt to GDP ratio. That's going to start going up too. So at some point you just have to start asking, how can we believe any of the numbers you give us when every time something comes up you say, whoops, we didn't know, we're just going to have to spend the money anyway.